Good evening and thank you for joining us on today's installment of Parenting Today. My name is Dibala Nair and my co-pilot is Maureen Juguna. There's a lot to cover today and we want to turn our focus on parenting with emotional intelligence. Of course, most of you, I presume, you've read Dell Coleman's book on emotional intelligence. And there's a rich stream of information from that particular book that we know, yes, we are emotional beings. But when it comes to parenting, how then do we involve emotional intelligence? And what is emotional intelligence anyway? This is a word that has been bandied around for so many times, but sometimes we've not really sat back and just think deeply about it. What is emotional intelligence and how, as a parent, can we involve and inculcate emotional intelligence in our parenting? I'm joined by Daniel Juma, who is the Executive Director of Global Peace Foundation. And of course, they've been heavily involved as well in fatherhood and parenting and the whole gamut when it comes to, just family as an institute that stabilizes a nation. Daniel Juma. Good to see you. Good evening. How was your day?
Yeah, my day was good. It's good to be here again.
Thank you. Right, so we have a lot to cover as far as emotional intelligence is concerned. And I know most of the times you've had people talk about emotional intelligence,
yes,
especially within the corporate sector, where they want to know how you can be a boss that's also involved in emotional intelligence, dealing with your employees. And I know you, as an executive director, also you are very ably conversant with that as well.
Yeah.
But when it comes to the family setting, is a different kettle of fish, right? This is where I want to maybe pick your brains on this and tell us, yes, how can you be a parent who is parenting with in mind emotional intelligence, that it just come naturally, or you need to be particularly intent on doing it?
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Parenting with emotional intelligence is very, very critical. As you know, emotional intelligence is the ability to understand one's feelings, one's emotions, and also the ability to understand other people's emotions, and feelings. So emotional intelligence, governs how you relate with yourself and other people. I always say that everything begins with the person. You cannot give what you don't have. To be a person of good character, you yourself has to be a person of good character. So, to be able to parent with emotional intelligence, you yourself must have emotional intelligence. And it's something not just it does not just come natural, but it can also be taught along the way. It can be intentional. So when you bring up your kids, you have to help them to be able to grow with emotional intelligence, and this will help them, to be able to survive. Because these kids are not gonna live with you forever. You stay with them in the house, but when they leave out to go to school, when they leave the door, when you're no longer with them, how you bring them up, how you inculcate emotional intelligence with them will govern how they relate with their teachers, how they relate with their colleagues at school, with their schoolmates, and so I think this is very, very critical. As parents, I think it's important to walk with your kids along the way, understanding their fears, understanding their emotions. Sometimes, you have to listen. One of the most important aspects of nurturing emotional intelligence is to listen. Listen and listen and listen. Sometimes your kid comes to you and she has fears, or she wants to have a conversation. Maybe they were playing. I remember one day my daughter comes to me and tells me some of their friends was mean to her, or this friend of hers who is no longer, she doesn't want to be her friend anymore, and so she could come to me crying that so and so doesn't want to be my friend, they don't want to play with me, they have collected themselves in a group, and so now I don't fit there because they don't want to be a part of them.